everyone, and welcome to our very first podcast episode in 2025. Woo! Thank you so much, Laura, for accepting the invitation and being here with us today. It's a great big pleasure on this not too sunny January day. I'm very excited to continue the podcast episodes. In 2024 was the year when we started. We had 3 episodes with really, really great people. We had amazing chats around really exciting topics. So this is our chance to continue, and thanks again. I let you introduce yourself, and then we could maybe share our story, how we met, and what's our story together.
Yeah, amazing. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here and chat about well-being in the workplace. So that sort of leads me into what I do and how we met. So I actually work as a yoga teacher, but not only that, I have my own business. So I run a brand called The Yoga Class. We run corporate wellbeing, which I work with Meshi in. And then also I run retreats. I run an app, customer focus, and we sort of link that in a little bit with corporate wellbeing. But yeah, Meshi and I collaborate on that. We work with a really great brand in central London where we do weekly yoga classes to help people feel a little bit calmer and a little bit more at ease during their work week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you for the lovely intro.
We worked together at your old company for another corporate wellbeing program. So that was our intro to each other. And yeah, we've stayed friends ever since.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes back to my Amex times when I did organize a wellness week there, and you kindly came. I think we did a yoga class and a meditation class as well.
Yeah,
like in a hybrid setting, so people could enjoy in the room and then online as well, which was great success.
Yeah,
and actually that wellness week gave me inspiration to start my own business after. So that was a big milestone.
The turning point.
Yes, exactly, like a big milestone. First of all, I wanted to ask you about what really inspired you. And I don't think that we ever really had a deeper discussion about this. So actually really interests me as well. Like, when did you find out this is your passion? What's your purpose?
Yeah, well, lots of questions there. But I think to sort of start it off, it didn't happen for me automatically. You know, some people know what they want to do from when they are very young and they're always working towards that thing. And I definitely wasn't like that. I sort of did other jobs and other careers. In fact, I was a model for about 20 years, in fact. And then I actually came to yoga when I was going through a very difficult time in my life. And it gave me this sort of sacred space for myself. And I never would have thought at the time it was a real tool for me to manage my mental health and just to help me. I really enjoyed the fact that I felt stronger as well, which I'd always done a lot of like running, but I'd never done anything that was as full body. So yeah, it was I just absolutely loved it. The first yoga class I went to was amazing. It was my big, as you just said, a big turning point. And then 2 years later, I actually became a teacher, which I never would have realized that I would be when I first started yoga. And then I think only a few years later after that, I actually started my business. And again, this was a little bit of, it wasn't sort of like planned. It was actually almost a little bit accidental. I always knew I wanted to own my business. Lockdown happened and I stopped being able to do my modeling work, didn't get much furlough, and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I just took the plunge and said, I'm going to start this business. And it wasn't a very clear sort of from the start how it was going to be or what it was, the full outline of the business, but it sort of developed and rolled and yeah, it has become a very big passion of mine and something that I love doing, not only because it's the side of it with movement, with yoga, with, you know, your breath, connecting movement and breath, which is so good for your mental health. Not only that, but I get to be creative and actually make decisions for my business. and then having connections with all the people that I work with. So with retreats, with clients like yourself, and also doing private sessions. So you really get to see people develop personally and physically and mentally as well. So it's really rewarding.
Wow, what a story. I love that. And thank you so much for sharing. When you said like some people really know, like, you know, what their purpose is and what they want to do with life, I think it's pretty rare, isn't it? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, I don't know, like I also just had ideas when I started off after uni. Also, I had like this big, I don't know, dream about like singing and being in theater and I don't know, like doing creative stuff. Then I came to London and then it was like, again, a complete new scratch. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's like ups and downs and life kind of like shapes us, right? And different
Yeah.
experiences. And then,
Yeah,
mm,
exactly. I don't feel like I would have been able to pick this career for myself when 20 years ago. So, you know, like life shapes you, you become a different person, you change, you evolve, and then you're ready for whatever it is you're meant to be doing, your purpose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, well, congratulations on running the yoga class,
Thank you.
and I know you do it with great success. We can share, of course, the app, the link to the app, so people can try and download it for themselves. What you're running the yoga class, how you find just in general, like approaching the topic like well-being in the office, well-being at the workplace. I know that you have like a specific angle, right? So usually you come from the yoga perspective and all the benefits and everything what it brings to people and how it changes people's mental health and the culture at the workplace and everything. I just find it really interesting in general, like, you know, how people and especially corporates approaching this topic, that everybody is really like talking about it, but when it comes to like investment, it's still a bit like shaky, convincing, like depending on who you talk to, and it can be still challenging. And then we can go into the out yoga topic.
I guess to start, yeah, it's great that we both work with corporate wellbeing because I feel like it's really of the utmost importance. Um, it's not only proven to be beneficial for employees' mental health, physical health, um, focus, motivation, sleep, stress, anxiety. Those are all things that can be really positively influenced. But obviously, as well, it's very good from a business perspective. So you have the idea that well-being is central to success in the workplace as a whole, because of, according to a study by Deloitte, it costs employers 51 billion each year from poor mental health. And the World Health Organization says that it costs the global economy loss in productivity 1 trillion annually. So obviously it's a very sort of like important topic from a business perspective as well. And then from the other side, you have brilliant quotes and stats to show how it can actually improve profitability, lower absenteeism, reduce healthcare costs, etc., etc., etc. Return on investment. You can look at all these stats and really see the benefit from lots of different angles. However, I think, as you said, it's a very I think there's a lot of hearsay about it. There's a lot of talk. A lot of bosses are talking about it. But then when it comes down to it, I've experienced this, you've experienced this. It's not perhaps as commonplace as you would expect it to be. So yes, I come to it from a yoga, a meditation perspective personally, but you could be dealing with anything from financial well-being, social well-being in terms of team building, and things like that. And then obviously the physical and the mental, which is what I deal with. So obviously I only have a slice of how
Yeah.
businesses are actually tackling this. Maybe you have a slightly sort of broader perspective on that. But yeah, maybe it's not quite so well rolled out as people would like to say it is.
Yeah, I agree. And interestingly, I think as you go to different parts of the world, it also like shifts and changes. Like we say it's like maybe challenging and a bit difficult in the UK, and you go a bit further to Eastern Europe and there is even bigger challenge, I guess, to kind of set up the baseline of the whole thing. Um, so yes, I experience similar what you just said, that on a discussion level, it's kind of like, or opinion level, it's kind of like everyone is like saying the same, how important it is. But when it comes to action and maybe changes, which affect, let's say, culture and really how people feel in a workplace, then it comes to like, yeah, it just always, this word comes to me like convincing, like, because it's like, as you were mentioning, the stats and numbers, like you really have to play this game, which is yeah, it's just important. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great people are talking about it though, because that can only be the start of more positive change, I think. So the culture is starting to change. People are starting to talk about it more. Obviously, there are people like ourselves who focus on this as a job. So obviously there is the demand there. I think it's just something that we're going to have to continue to push forward. I mean, podcasts like this, they continue the conversation, they highlight it. All the articles that are written about it. LinkedIn is full of well-being chats and initiatives. So yeah, hopefully this will just continue to propel it forward even more.
Thank you so much. And now cracking on to our next topic, which is an interesting one. So lately I had the chance to write an article to actually one of the biggest corporate magazines in the UK. They're called PA Live. So it's an executive magazine, which corporates can access. And I have the privilege to be their well-being columnist through this year. So it's really cool. And I found one topic which really excites me and really connects to our conversation before, really about how to how to position well-being at the workplace, and how to build a proper business case around well-being. So you get the leadership buy-in, and you can get investment, and you can get budgets to actually make a difference at the workplace. And I found this amazing title, which is "You Can't Out Yoga a Bad Boss." And then we had this fascinating discussion, you and I, about what this actually means. So interestingly, I had my own concept about this title. My understanding about this sentence was exactly this. Like, I was reflecting about like the whole strategy and how you build this
Yeah.
business case, and how you prepare yourself for the
Yeah.
pushbacks and the resilience which may come from the leadership when you build your business case. And then we came to the realization that it has a different meaning, or maybe a different meaning as well. Like, I guess it really depends on how you understand this whole thing. If a culture at the workplace really needs change, then it doesn't really matter how many kind of like ad hoc well-being events or activities you organize, because a deeper change is needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you had any experience with this, like when you, let's say, start a conversation with a company, and then I guess you introduce like the programs you run, like the benefits and everything. Like, do you feel like there is an appetite, or there's an openness? Appetite there is, I think. It's more like the openness to go deeper and say, okay, well, we can do yoga class, we can do meditation, we can teach people how to calm themselves and regulate the nervous system, and tips and tricks and everything. But like, when you bring your ideas, like, okay, we could do,
Yeah.
like a wider program, or maybe a long-term strategy to really initiate change or shift in the culture in a positive way, like how open they are maybe for this.
Yeah. I think my experience is that they quite often corporate well-being is very much from a yoga perspective or a mindfulness or meditation. They just want to do an ad hoc workshop or session, and rather than looking at it in more of a long-term kind of 360 perspective, like with a sort of full well-being strategy. I don't know whether that is because obviously I don't work for these places, so I don't know what happens internally, but maybe that's because they're focused on financial well-being or more team building activities, and they're putting their efforts and their budget into that. But yeah, from a yoga and meditation, mindfulness perspective, that's definitely the situation that's the feedback that I get. And yes, these are great, and it's brilliant that we are doing this sort of thing. As you said, to help people learn techniques, to help calm themselves and regulate their nervous system. I think obviously that's then something that they would be responsible personally for continuing themselves, rather than if it was a weekly or monthly activity, you know, as we work on an online weekly thing that people can really easily just log into from their desk and do anywhere they are, either at work or in the office or at home. And it's a really nice sort of like way for them to relax every week. I mean, that's brilliant from my perspective.
This actually,
Yeah.
I just had this idea. This brings me to another question. We didn't have it in the list, but do you see any trends, or, you know, as like the world is shaping, like we had the pandemic and then everything went online, and like, do you see any trends how just like doing yoga itself like changes, or maybe the approach to it changes? Specifically, I mean, like, I never heard about chair yoga in my life, or desk yoga. And I think like you introduced me to like that concept, or maybe I've seen it in your deck, like in your descriptions. And I was like, what is that? Because I think that's like a perfect example of how things changing, how companies approaching, like you want like shorter, quicker, quick solution, you know, no yoga mats. Like how do you see the shift in this?
Definitely, 100%. There's trends within well-being and within yoga, as there is with anything. And I think generally people's attention spans are shorter, people are busier. So shorter sessions on the app are what do really well. The 10, 20 minute, 30 minute really maximum. And as we do a 30-minute session as well, I think people just have so much going on in their life that I think, shorter is definitely better. You see it on social media as well, like 10-second reels. And that's about it. Then you lose somebody. And then in terms of yoga itself, obviously there's so many different types of yoga. So over time, it has changed from being this very traditional Indian practice, which is really sort of like rooted in discipline, to something that has really, what's the word? It's sort of, it's expanded into so many different forms. And as you said, there is chair yoga, there is all different types of meditation and breath work. There is all different ways to look at it. I mean, in terms of strength yoga, like sort of the physical practice, it's becoming much more like Pilates. It's being looked at from much more of like a sort of functional way, rather than like mobility and strength, rather than just being this sort of spiritual practice. So it's really diversified. That's the word I was looking for. So you could obviously, I think my understanding of yoga is it's something that, the traditional definition is that it calms the chatter of the mind. So anything that does that, so it's quite broad, anything that does that, so anything that's connecting breath and movement, or helping you be more connected to yourself with your breath, calming your mind. So any sort of mindfulness, any sort of breath work, any sort of meditation, that is all yoga. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I find this request usually from businesses, from companies when I talk to them about well-being programs, that usually they want something as a combination of like yoga, meditation, or even
Yeah.
breath work. But as you
Yeah.
just mentioned, the aim is always the same, like to teach techniques to the people which they can take away
Yeah.
and then apply into their daily lives
Yeah.
to help managing stress and
Yeah.
calming themselves. So yeah, 100%. Well, thank you. That was a really great insight
Thank you.
and knowledge about yoga itself. Actually, fun fact: my dad is absolutely into yoga these days, which is
Amazing.
yeah,
Love.
which is cool. He has his own yoga mat and everything. Well, if it's like spring, summertime, he does it at the balcony. So like he has his own like music station and then calming music and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
really
Amazing.
nice. Maybe we jump into the topic of what it means to be a business owner, because you and I are in the same shoes here, and I always enjoy like talking to like-minded people, and also like female like entrepreneurs and business owners. It's just such a nice thing, and I really admire everyone who is doing this. I did admire before I started it, but now that I'm in the same shoes, I'm like, wow, this is this can be
Yeah.
yeah, this can be challenging, and it's just nice to connect, and you have like similar
Mm.
issues, similar challenges to go over and fight through, and then grow and becoming better. So
Yeah.
it's actually the title of the podcast as well, the confidence code, and I gave this title because I just think that in a way, confidence and in a way like self-image and self-reflection is just the essence of life. And you know this because yoga helps you to discover
Yeah.
yourself in a bit deeper level, and helps you um, just having a bit more mindful and self-aware approach, I guess, how you walk through
Mm-hmm.
life. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, what's your relationship, so to say, with confidence, or how you grew your confidence, how you walk through life with kind of like growing it, and how it evolved, how it evolved in your life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, maybe yoga helped you. I guess it did, but I let you unfold. Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Firstly, being a business owner is very challenging, but very rewarding because you can pretty much own your life. I like to see it as you can direct it. You get to choose what you do. You know, my business is something I'm really passionate about. So it's really amazing that I get to sort of direct my business initiatives in the same direction as my interests, which is amazing. But yeah, very challenging at times. But I think the thing that I enjoy about it now, being where I am in my life, I really enjoy the challenges because I feel like I can always do it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah,
But I think it's taken time for me to get to that place. Like I'm 40 in May this year.
I
So,
was 40 in
um,
May last year.
okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think age has a lot to do with it. I have got a son, so he's 12 now. So I've had to like learn a lot about myself through having him and being a mum. And then all of the different sort of life challenges that I've had as well. I think they all sort of shape you to being who you are, but also to like actually give you your confidence. So I think learning that you can fail, um, and then actually growing from it is really key in developing your confidence, because you realize that okay, it's actually okay that I fail. Oh, and actually everybody else does as well. and that's okay. And I'm just going to learn from that. Nobody's going to see me as being a failure for that. In fact, people actually relate to it if we're being vulnerable and actually realizing that not everybody or nobody is perfect, and actually just being able to realize that you are allowed to grow and not to know what you're doing all the time and to be better next time. I think that's for me, a really important part of being confident. Yeah. And within that, as I did mention, but just to highlight it, to like realize that everyone is the same. Nobody knows really what they're doing quite a lot of the time. So that really helped me feel much more confident in myself. And also being, as you said, self-aware. So learning from your mistakes, to like be able to reflect on your strengths and your values. That really helps develop authentic confidence, because you have this understanding of who you are, how you can play to your strengths. But it's definitely a skill that is cultivated throughout your life, with age, with practice, with patience, with self-awareness. Embracing imperfection. So, and also trying not to be, fall into the comparison trap. So understanding your strengths and not looking at everyone else thinking what they've got is better than you, or they can do that better than you. Leaning into your challenges, lots of different things like that. And actually owning my own business has only made me feel more confident, because all of the things that I've just said are things that I have to practice within my business on a daily basis. So it's actually just helped me develop who I am and why I feel confident in myself. That's not to say that I always feel confident, as I don't think anyone does. And I do have struggles with things, as everyone does. But yoga, definitely helps. The ideology of yoga is very much about self-compassion, self-awareness, focusing on the process rather than being perfect. So rather than leaning into the outcome, you're thinking about the process and trying to enjoy the process. And also another thing of yoga is non-attachment. So you're not attaching to the outcome. You're just enjoying doing it for the fact that it's just doing it. So yoga is a brilliant framework for embracing challenges, I think, and growing confidence.
I love this non-attachment, what you just said, how true that is, right? Like they all say like, enjoy the journey. But when you are so fixated on something, you just don't understand what that is. So you need, like, as you said, a framework or a tool, or like something to help, to help, like, realizing what that actually means, to just enjoy the moment, being in the now, and like detach from, I want this, I am doing this because of that, and I'm gonna get there, and then I'm gonna be happy, and blah blah. So 100%.
Exactly.
And about
so there's this really amazing quote from young Pueblo, and he says, all stress is caused by not letting go. So you basically, if you're attached to something so greatly, and the outcome of that is actually going to cause you so much stress. Whereas actually, if you just let it unfold and just enjoy it for what it is, parigraha in yoga, not letting go.
Mm-hmm.
So really important.
100%. And just going back to your story about growing the confidence and how you overcoming challenges. It's 100% on my end as well, so I can relate to this too. When I started the business, I felt like first of all, I was like convinced this is not gonna happen, and like this is like no way. I'm just trying it and whatever. I was like, I'm not sure. And as the challenges came, as you said, it's like daily basis. You have to like face all these things. you face something and then you somehow manage to get over it, and then you come out at the other end and you look back and you're like, well, it's actually was not that bad. And so to say, it was actually really well done, or really, really great, whatever you overcame, or whatever you've done. And then it really helps you to grow that confidence, like step by step, day by day, I guess. And as you said, it was the same with me. Like certainly at some point I just arrived to this mental state that I started to believe that whatever challenge comes next, I will be able to overcome. Like I had the faith. I was not like standing in front of it thinking, oh my God, focusing on, this panic and fears type of state of mind, but more like I had the faith that yes, I have zero clue how I'm going to manage this. I've never done this in my life. I've seen this, I'm seeing this problem first time, and I really must overcome like quickly or fast or whatever. And then you're like, okay, well, we don't know. But then you have the faith that, okay, you manage 100%. And
I can figure
yes,
this
yeah,
out.
I can figure
Yeah.
this out. The solution will come. I'm stepping into this state from really wanting and the fear to allowing, and you just trust that it's going to come to you. And it always does. So I think it really
Yeah.
changes just how you are able to shift your mindset. It's just, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
It's a growth mindset. Growth mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, as you said, I experienced the same. Like I don't know. I never thought I'll be able to do like talks without like shaking and massive anxiety and everything. And last year I did a talk in front of 300 people live at a conference, and I was talking
Amazing. Yeah.
so calm and nice and clear and good English and everything. And I was just watching this video, over and over again, like nearly like convincing myself, like, this is you, like, this is what you've done. That's
Yeah.
really you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
what is that? And yeah, well, like 30 minutes before I was stepping on stage, I nearly threw up because I was like, oh, I was like so nervous. But yeah, like these things like really help you
Yeah.
to have the faith. So yeah, really, really good, insights and things to chat about, and seeing, like someone else's story, how you also like grow and develop. And it's just so inspiring. I think it's just true inspiration to discuss about these things. What would be your advice or any thoughts to someone who actually never did anything in yoga and never tried meditation? They are just completely new to this whole thing. Maybe they heard about it, or, it's a family member or a good friend, or they got inspired, or maybe you want to introduce this to someone
Yeah.
else and show the benefits, or like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
maybe the person has like no knowledge, and they were like, maybe, yeah, I'm just going to the gym and I need exercise and then I'm sweating quickly and that's fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you position like the
So,
benefits of this?
yeah, I would say, I mean, I also love the gym. I think it's good to sweat.
Yeah.
It's good to do cardio.
Yeah.
I think even from doing exercise in the gym, if you are thinking about how your body's moving, to be focused on, the alignment of your body, to be focused on your breath as you move through the movements, like even that is carrying elements of yoga because it's making it more mindful. So
This makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, so I think, I wouldn't suggest anyone does anything they don't enjoy. I mean, I think the key to being consistent with something is to make sure you really enjoy doing it. So maybe try like whatever resonates with you most. So you could try more of a physical type of yoga if that's what resonates with you most, or you could try breath work. If you struggle to keep your mind quiet, breath work could be perfect because you focus on what you're doing rather than just trying to clear your mind. So you're giving yourself a task, which helps. In my opinion, sound meditation is so relaxing. It's very important, very trending right now, as you said, like trends in wellbeing. And And that is just very relaxing. It has the sound waves wash over you and have a really powerful effect. I mean, there's so many different ways for people to try it, to experience it, as it's diversified so much nowadays. So I think it's whatever resonates with you. Get advice from someone who knows what they're talking about. Try it. Make sure you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, try another type and then go with that. I mean, the main thing, as I've said, is trying to clear your mind by connecting your movement and your breath, or clear your mind by focusing on what you're doing, your self-awareness, your breath. So however you do that is going to be beneficial for you. That would be my advice, I think, to someone new.
Thank you. Would you suggest trying it through your app maybe as well? Like you have like different videos and also for complete beginners as well. Yeah, which are not that complex. Easier.
Yeah, exactly. And also subscribing to an app is a very accessible way of like really accessing a huge amount of content. So we have over 500 videos online and on the app. And then you can try lots of different styles of yoga. Great idea. I should have thought of this myself, Meshi. But yeah, great idea, because you can then try, like, you could try different types. We've got 7 different styles of yoga. We've got different types of breath work, meditation, very geared for all levels and also beginners. And then you could maybe, because some of these classes are actually very expensive, you're paying the same or more for one class as you would do for a whole month's worth of access to the app. So yeah, it's a very accessible way of obtaining and being able to try a whole wealth of well-being content.
And also you can do it in your own convenience, in your own home, right?
Yeah, it's very popular with parents, with professional people that travel for work, because it's something, obviously, you can keep up with your well-being, you can keep up with your health and your fitness wherever you are at your own convenience, as you said, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. Really cool. So yeah, go guys, download the app. We'll share the links. So thank you for sharing this really great advice. And this brings us to the very, very last question, which is about your favorite quote. This became now a tradition. That's how we close the episodes. I'm asking the favorite quote from my guests, which brings us to get inspired and leaving also on a positive high note. So please share the quote and also feel free to add like why is it close to you?
Yeah, of course. Well, I had to give a little bit of thought to this because I have a lot of favorite quotes, and I really sort of embrace the idea, and this relates to what we were talking about, of being able to just start whenever you're ready, do whatever you want to do. Like, it's not too late to start, just do it. We've been talking about that. You can always you've always got the opportunity to begin again. Basically, that's what I'd really stand for. And hard work is you can put in the hard work, you can learn, you can grow, and you can start whenever you're ready to be who you want to be. So that is really like my overall kind of ethos and where I stand in terms of my business and my yoga practice and my yoga teaching. But I had to give this some thought, and actually I found this quote that I really loved, and I felt that it was really relevant to what we were talking about. So it's by Anna Quindlen, who's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. And she said, "The thing that is really hard and really amazing is giving up on being perfect and beginning the work of becoming yourself." So I thought that was something that was really relevant to what we were talking about, as it reflects the idea that confidence grows when you let go of this idea of being perfect and you really embrace who you are, what your purpose is, self-discovery. And that's when you can really find happiness, I think, in what you're doing, and really embracing this idea of practice and growth rather than this perfect or flawless outcome. So yeah, I've got a lot of favorite quotes, but that was the one I wanted to share today.
Ah, thank you. I love it. I love it. Totally can relate. Yeah, really, really cool. I love it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for being our guest today on the podcast. I know that we were like working hard even end of last year to making it happen, and finally it happened. So I'm really pleased, and thank you, thank you. We are all busy ladies with busy lives, working on our businesses, as well as trying to keep up with everything else in life. So big thank you, and thanks everyone for tuning in to today's episode and listening. Hopefully you got some inspiration and nice content from our discussion with Laura. Go download the app. You'll find the link just in the description, on YouTube and on Spotify as well. And have an amazing month. I am trying to work on bringing the episode to you on a monthly basis. So fingers crossed, it's happening. Wishing everyone a wonderful day and a wonderful time. And thanks again, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a really interesting conversation.
Thank you, and hopefully meeting you guys in a month's time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.